Hello, and thank you very much for your attention today. Penny Power here, and we're going to be talking to Adam Mangan, who is an amazing chap. I want to keep your attention. I know that I talked about in my recent ponderings that attention is the product. So if I've got it, let me keep it. And I know that Adam's going to really inspire you. So Adam has been in business for 35 years. And as he will very honestly share, he's had some major successes and some very challenging failures. Does that ring a bell to you, maybe? One thing that's been a real constant for him has been his priority of keeping very fit and the difference that's made to him recovering from setbacks, to motivating him, etc. And he's become very well known in terms of his network, and it's impossible to label Adam. Could I call him a mentor, a consultant, a coach, a trusted advisor, all of those types of things? But his clients work with him both on their fitness, their business fitness and their physical fitness, because, well, let's face it, BIP chat stands for business is personal. And if we don't look after ourselves personally, our business is going to suffer. And I think also many of us are going to be working much longer than maybe our fathers or mothers did. And we need to keep fit and not only just live a long time, but be healthy and fit with it. So we're going to be talking business and fitness. And hopefully this is going to inspire you. It's actually went out live in January, which is a really good time of year because there are a lot of people that have made those resolutions. And I have to thank Adam because he has offered BIPers, our community in BIP 100, the opportunity to get fit with him this year, and they're all setting lots of different challenges, and he's going to set up a race. And whether we're going to be walking 5k, running 5k, somebody wants to do 50 miles, and Adam is an amazing fit man, so he can help us all through the challenges of business and of achieving those fitness goals. So welcome, Adam. Thank you so much for being with me today. So yeah, fill in. I'm sure when you were listening to me, you're thinking, well, that's well represented. Oh, I could put that better.
No, I think it was amazing. Thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tell us a little bit more about this, why you've combined the two, and also in what way fitness has really helped you as a business owner yourself.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I don't know, I think it's kind of crept up on me over the years. I've been an entrepreneur for a long, long time. My first business at the age of 19, and I've also worked in corporate life. But I've also had a love for sports, but in particular running. I don't know why. Oh, I didn't know why for a long time, but it kind of crept up on me as I started to realize that a lot of the aspects of my running and my sports fit within my business in terms of that motivation, that discipline, that determination, that planning, the execution, the deployment. Certainly when I'm racing. So, and also within that community, you have competitors. So you've got competition, what work have you done on those competitors? But as a person, as an individual, and those who work for me and work with me, I also try to push them to be fitter because I know what it does. Now, I've met a lot of CEOs, I'm sure you have, and CFOs and COOs, and the ones that are really in good physical condition are also in primarily a better mental space. And it's so how can I put it, a no-brainer that
Yeah,
you look after yourself. I mean, that the key thing in any business is the person, no?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So why wouldn't you? And it's fun. I mean, business can be tough. So you can let off steam. You don't have to do what I do, which is try and compete and try and beat everyone around you. And I don't obviously achieve that very often because there's a lot of people doing the same thing. But that's pretty much how it started. I think something like about 20 years ago, I started seeing, the symmetry between them both. And it helped me dig even deeper and start planning events, racing, and using that in my business and using what I learnt in business for when I'm racing.
Yeah, and I love it. In fact, I had a big knee operation 14 weeks ago, and I've been slowly rehabbing. This morning was the first time I was out at 7 o'clock this morning to a spinning class and a circuits class.
Yeah.
I can't believe the difference it's made to me just starting my day like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I mean, we love talking about brain chemicals in BIP with TJ. And I can immediately tell that my dopamine, my motivation, my reward center of my brain, everything is on fire. So is my ability to focus better. And yeah, and I just feel better for it.
Of
And
course. And you're
but you
proud,
know,
yes?
say again.
You're proud as well, yes?
I'm
As
proud of it.
well.
I'm telling you about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to check whether I do it again tomorrow. In fact, I have got a class tomorrow. So and I have to say, oh God, I don't know whether this is terribly bad to say this, but if I see a really overweight food junkie leading a business that's unfit,
Yeah.
I find it harder to respect those type of leaders. Is that if
Yeah.
I say that?
I think that's, it's very good of you to be honest, but I look at people who look unfit, and unless there's a medical reason, you would be surprised that they got to the top. They obviously have something about them that compensates that, so respect for them.
Yeah.
But it's not just that, it's about enhancing it.
Mm.
You're really, really a driven person. You want to be the best person you can. Yeah, I think we all want to do that. And if you're in business, you want it to succeed. So my side, I do a strategy, I work out the value proposition, their marketplace, I help them deploy into sales and get new clients. But that's business. So you think, okay, so if you can do that in your personal life for something else that helps that, and you can discuss it at the same time, then how are you not going to succeed? So you could be a very successful business person wherever you are in your life, if you're working for a corporation or running your own company, but you can get fitter and
Mm.
better. And it's not just about being fit, but then you might want to compete. So if you want to be the real best, excuse me, excuse me, sorry, you want to be the real best at something, then you're going to try harder. But there's no point being a busy fool. You need to plan it. So how are you going to do that? What's your training plan? What's your nutrition? Your lifestyle. What kit have you got? What time do you have available to do that? How do you measure that? What's your heart rate like? What's your and like yourself, you get injured. So when things go wrong in business, when you get injured in sports, you go through rehabilitation. You do the same in business. You adjust, you build, and you start again. And that's how I work. So when I go with the mindset of when I'm speaking to someone who wants to use my services to get fit as well as help them with their businesses, I go with that. Where do you want to get to? What's your end goal? The same is with your company. Yeah. I want to exit in 5 years. Okay. In real life, what's your strategy to achieve that? Can you show
Yeah, it's
me?
lovely.
Yeah. Can you show me the steps that you're prepared to make, where the flexibility is to do that? Are they picturing it? Can they see it? Okay. And I want to be able to run a marathon in 2 years in 3 hours 20. Okay. So that's your goal. Now we got to do is put a strategy together to get you to that start line, and then a strategy to get together to get you from that start line to that finish, which is your exit.
Mm.
And they will run together, both of those, and that you will have your dark moments during an event, the same you have your dark moments in the I call them a dark moment. So when I'm doing long distance running, so when I say long distance, anything over 50k kilometers, I know that I'll have 2 or 3 dark moments. That means in my head, I'm questioning why I'm bothering. Why are you doing this again, Adam? What's made you get to this point? This is really hurting. And I've learned over the years to embrace that and look forward to it. As strange
Oh.
as it seems. And I have little tools, mental tools, such as I start thinking about my junior school and trying to remember the classrooms and the teachers. And then time passes and you get past that dark moment. But the same happens in business so often. So you need to expect them and embrace them and deal with them. Because to be successful, you're the one who gets past that, aren't you? And
Yeah.
then you've learned by that. And next time you get one that you know is coming, you react differently. With the goal still, the end goal being the finish line, whatever that finish line is. And of course, in sports, and I know I'm talking running because that's the thing I enjoy and I do the most of. you've got another finish line next because you've got another race booked, you've got another race booked. But in between that, you've got all that training, all that fun stuff, and all that feeling good about yourself, feeling proud as you do. Um, and you use that in business.
It's wonderful. And when you had your challenging time, which, some people think a couple of months of cash flow is a challenge, but you went through quite a major thing.
Yeah,
How much was your fitness able to help you through that mentally?
Well, so it's immeasurable. I'll tell you a true story then. So when one of my companies, it all went totally wrong. It was a big, successful organization. It all went really wrong. The reasons I can go through on another podcast, but 2 days later, I was at a half marathon, and when I crossed the line in a really good time, I nearly broke down because of the emotion that I had to go through in the last week. And I still had lots to go through and to deal with, but I turned up for the race. I ran my best. Um, if I hadn't have done that, what would I have done? Stayed at home and said, I'm not in the right frame of mind. That's not, and it was only, it was a half marathon. That's achievable for any human, So it's yeah, and then onwards. But yes, I've had some pretty big downs.
This actually reminds me, and I know Hannah doesn't mind me talking about it, but and don't mean to trigger anybody here, but Hannah had in 2016, our daughter went to Morzine and was abducted by 3 men and raped by one of them. And she was phenomenal throughout the whole thing, because a year before that, my niece had died, and she was just very focused on the fact that she had survived. And she had booked a half marathon in Basingstoke, and Basingstoke's very hilly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very hilly. And she'd never done one. And it was about 6 to 8 weeks after her trauma. And I was amazed, and we went to support her. But she was absolutely determined she was going to do that, because she was determined, like you with the business.
Yeah.
What had happened to her wasn't going to define her and stop her from being an achiever. And
that's wonderful.
It is incredible. I mean, I just think for many traumas, whether they're life traumas or business traumas, what you're talking about is so critical, because it's so easy to just sit on your sofa when you go through hell. And sport fitness must be one of the best ways to just re-energize you and give yourself confidence again that you can do something against all odds.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, it's a process, isn't it? And it's we got one life, Penny. One. Okay. And during that time, what are we going to do with it? Okay, so whatever reasons you can give or excuses you can give, whether they're true or not, about not doing stuff, it's not acceptable. It should be acceptable. So why not do stuff?
Yeah.
Why not? Whether it doesn't have to be sport, running. You can go mountaineering. You can take up skiing, or it could be anything. It's just. But if you can find something that absolutely complements the other and are both wins, how's that? So you've got sports helping you if business goes bad, sports helping you if business goes well, business helping your sport in the same sense. That you are an individual who has chosen to get fitter and maybe faster and maybe run longer and maybe achieve medals to make people around you proud or yourself proud or raise money. Whatever it is, those processes are there. And for you as a human to be able to achieve them isn't as difficult as people think. It's easy to talk about. It's also actually easy to do. You just got to have the right mindset. And that is why entrepreneurs have strong mindset, successful business people have strong mindset, and successful sports people do as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, the commonality in that. So what was the moment when you thought, I'm going to work with this executive, I'm working with him on his business, I'm helping him to find new channels to market, business develop, find, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And then you thought, actually, I'm going to get this person out running or doing what they needed to do fitness wise.
Yeah, actually, it was strange. It was at I had some couple of companies at the time, and I was very busy with them. But I was at an obstacle course racing, which I did really well at. As a sport, I really enjoyed. I went to a world championships, and I did really well in my age group.
Wow.
But it's an obstacle course racing, so you've got obstacles at each point. Anyway, one of the so you have to think about it. You have to have different skills. You've got to get across them. Hey, that's business and life, yeah. Whether you got to swim and climb and etc. But they're fun, and it was one of the marshals actually who I got to know from a sports series, um, at the end of an event I was talking to, and he had his own small business that he had problems with, and I just said to him about, well, can you not see if you can do this, you can do that. What do you do when you get to that obstacle that you struggle with the most? Yeah. And you don't want to struggle with it again. You're going to train on it. You're going to practice on it. You're going to get it right. That's what I said. And I thought, hang on, yeah, that can work. So I started just asking. I'm quite well connected. People who I thought keep, kept telling me, yeah, I want to get fitter. Oh, it's amazing what you're doing, Adam. I wish I could do it. Well, you can. You can do better, more than me. You can do what you like. You can. And so, yeah, words started getting around. I got approached by a few. I helped a few in communities that you and I know. Um, Originally it was just free, and then I started charging for my time because I was doing as much business as fitness.
Yeah.
And of course, at first it was fine because it was my training as well, but then it became more than that.
Yeah.
And so I started to charge for that. But it was a guarantee, I can guarantee you that I will get you to your finish line.
Beautiful.
And the time you want to do it, I'll pace you. You watch my feet and just go with me. As long as you're not trying to get under 3 hours at a marathon or something, within reason. And that's my deal. Your side is that you will follow this plan. We will get through those dark moments. You will listen to what I've got to say. You know your body better than me, so you can adjust. We will look at what types of trainers work, what types of nutrition works for you. What sort of clothes you're going to wear. We'll look at the car parking times, where the toilets are, all of the legal stuff, all of that bit we can do, all the admin that you have to deal with in business and in sports. But I'll get you to that finish line. That's my deal. And if you want to do it, it's fine. I will make sure you do it. But you are the person doing it. And
That's amazing. And so how does it actually work? So I'm thinking, wow, I'd really like to have some of this business advice and wisdom that you've collated over 35 years around business, especially because of the adversity. That is so critical, I think, the wisdom you learn through adversity. So I want to, I'm someone who wants to engage with you and do this. How do you create a pattern of timing around that in terms of having time with them to talk about the business and have time to do the fitness?
Yeah, so I can fit them together. So I do deal with people just on fitness and people just on business, but I push them to make them fitter. So every single person I work with gets a bit fitter. Some go the whole hog and some don't. Um, so I keep them separate until we're running together, but we talk all the time. So you're building a project with someone and you're working on strategy. You're working with them. So it's easy to have that conversation at the beginning and at the end. But you keep them separate for obvious reasons. But then I'll have one-to-one calls with them, and then I'll run with them, and then we adjust their timing. But with both, they both have an end goal.
Yeah, I get
So
that.
you're just running them alongside it. And what happens is quite often, certainly when you're running with people, as in training, is that some of the things that are bothering them in their business that they wouldn't mention come out, you know, and quite often it's emotional stuff or what may seem to be petty, but isn't they're not part of the spreadsheet, they're not on the deck, but they're in everyday life, in work.
Yeah.
And the sort of ability to be able to give them mental freedom because they're relaxing to offload, it's quite often builds a change in strategy in the business. And sometimes that's just about people. They're not getting on with their co-worker or their partner or their co-founder or, and it's not you decide that you may make a decision on something. It's let's discuss this and let's find a way through this and find a solution and a good outcome. And that's not part of a contract or a deal. That just comes because we're now trusting each other. We're going through a journey together. We're spending time together. That's not just business. And it can all come out. And I don't pretend to know the answers to everything. So if I don't know, I can be at least a good sounding board, but together we can find out the answers. If I do know, or I have a good idea, then we can work on that. But I also learn. I love it personally because I'm dealing
Yeah,
with really inspiring individuals, people I
yeah,
look up to, and I'm learning from them. And they're keeping me fit because sometimes I have to keep up with them because they're really pushing, you know? So it's a two-way street.
amazing. It's a beautiful model. It really is. And I love the fact that it's so organically evolved
Hmm.
and making sense to so many people.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I just sort of closing off this podcast, I remember when Thomas got cancer back in 2018. I didn't really know you, but I remember you coming across to see him and what a difference that made to
Oh, that's
Thomas
fine.
as
Yeah.
well. He'll always remember that.
Yeah.
And you're a good man, and I can imagine it. People find this, well, A, you're very motivating. And when I wanted to stop this podcast about 15 minutes ago and get out there and run.
Yeah. Well, you've got no excuse after, Penny. You,
So you're really motivating. I hope I've still got your attention if you've been listening, but maybe you've sort of got your AirPods in and you're running now while you're listening to us rather than just walking the dog.
left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. Quite simple. Get your head down. Just keep going
So
forward.
that was a brilliant chat, and very grateful for the fact that Adam said to us, let's make BIP 100 the fittest business community. So we're on a path.
We can do it.
Together
We can
here.
do it.
We
Yeah.
can do it. Thanks very much for an awesome chat. Now, get in touch with Adam if this has inspired you. You can obviously contact Thomas or myself, Penny Power, or Thomas Power, and we will introduce you. But he's on LinkedIn. Mangan, Adam Mangan. It's Mangan. It's quite an unusual name, that, isn't it? Very unusual name.
Yes, yes, it is.
Mangan. So get in touch with Adam, but I'd love also to make an introduction if this has inspired you. And I hope that you know, you get fitter as a person, whether you've been walking a dog now or just in the car or however you've listened to us. I hope this has inspired you to get fitter, not just in your business, but also in your own health. And thanks so much, Adam. It was lovely.
Thank you, Penny. It's a pleasure.